I now call on Deputy Michael Healy-Rae.
Thank you very much, Lasco Hillock. And I too want to compliment all the people who have contributed here today. But the one thing that we have to remember in this House is that whether we're in opposition or the people that are in government, we all have the one aim and the one ambition. We never actually thought in our lifetimes that we would witness what is happening today. The horrors, the advent of modern communications methods, which means that literally we can see this unfolding before our eyes. Lasco Hillock, we didn't ever think that we would see this. And it is a genocide, and it is happening on all of our watches. And yes, everybody is right. We are all outraged. We want action. But I really and truthfully believe that this government, by our Taoiseach and the Taoiseach and all others, and if you go back to even last week, the high-level talks that took place in America, and where the Irish government, this was really our priority to try and ensure that we all come together all over the world. And of course, I would be the first person to say that what I would call larger institutions than ours aren't playing what I would call their full role in this. And it's not abdicating responsibility, because we're all responsible, every one of us, every country. All normal, right-minded thinking people would absolutely be outraged at the horror of seeing innocent, whether it's adults or children, but in particularly, and you're right, you're dead right to talk about children. You're dead right to talk about fathers and they're carrying their dead children or severely injured children. It is shocking and it is upsetting. And but there shouldn't be anything inside in this House of, us on one side and opposition on another side. We all want the same thing. And all we want is for the killing to stop. We want for the humanitarian aid to get through. We want for the blockades to be removed. And we want recognition that these people are entitled to live in peace and security and harmony. The trauma for the people who are surviving. And this is another thought, because you put a very thought-provoking image in all of our heads in the way you excellently spoke. But the other thing is, what about the children who are surviving? What about children who will live? But imagine the horror that they have to live with for the rest of their lives. Because you can remember your early childhood, every one of us can, the nice things that happened, the good things that happened to us, the bad things, and the bad things might have been, something so innocent as losing a football match. But compare it to what these little children that do survive, the horror, what they have to live with, the images that they have seen. It is frightening beyond belief. And it is so right for it to be debated in this House. And of course there is frustration by every one of us. And what we all want to just be sure is that we are doing everything we can in the speediest of time, and ensuring that other like-minded people throughout the world, that we will all work together. And of course my thoughts and prayers are very much with the people who are in that flotilla. And we want them to be successful, because as well as the practical success, it's the image of what they're trying to do and portraying that around the world. It is so important that their safety, that they're protected, and that they're successful in what I would call their mission. And I really believe in that. And I know that every one of us, on all sides of this House, we're praying for all of those good people that are putting themselves, what I'd say, in harm's way for what is so probably the most important issue that will ever come before us as parliamentarians in our lifetimes. Because, please God, we will never again live to see a time like what we're having. So Ireland welcomes the ongoing efforts to end the war in Gaza, including those of the US, even though I would have to say they should be doing more. Progress is being made to secure an agreement that brings an end to the violence in Gaza, secures the release of the hostages held by Hamas, and ensures that vital humanitarian aid gets to Gaza, in the hope that the US efforts can lead to a ceasefire and lay the ground for lasting peace. Hamas needs to seize the opportunity to lay down their arms and release all of the hostages. The Middle East was a core priority for Ireland at the UN high-level week in New York last week, in particular the implementation of the two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. The humanitarian situation in Gaza has never been worse and continues to significantly deteriorate. Ireland is extremely concerned about the escalation of the Israeli offensive in Gaza, which will only lead to more bloodshed, more loss of life, more starvation, and an even greater distance from any hope of peace. The Famine Review Committee of the Integrated Food Security Classification Phase System has determined that a famine is currently occurring in Gaza and is projected to spread further across the Strip. This is an entirely man-made famine and must be halted and reversed. Ireland calls on Israel to completely and immediately lift its blockade and allow the full resumption of humanitarian aid into and throughout Gaza. Thank you. Go ahead, look.